Hello, YouTube. My name's Austin, and yeah, I'm just starting a video series, or just videos, or maybe just one video. I don't know, of just me sharing my thoughts and what I think and what I think about what other people think and what I've come up with, and yeah, just trying to put my ideas out, or just see if maybe there's other people that think the same way, or if people like it and or just want to be supportive of it, then that's cool. But mainly this is just for me to put something out, because I want to put something out into the world and contribute and try to share some of this stuff so other people can see it and yeah, see what happens, I guess. Um, yeah, so basically, I'm 21 years old. I just turned 21. Um, I'm from a little town called Westphalia, Missouri. Uh, yeah, about 600 people, and I've grew up around here all my life. I haven't grew up in this town specifically, but in the general area, I'm kind of a outcast for my area, especially. The majority of people around here are farmers and people that grew up around farms and just country types. Um, so yeah, I've just, especially when I was in high school, I was quite the strange character. But yeah, so yeah, whenever, but this is mainly, or at least this is what mainly I'm trying to portray in these videos, or at least this is my vision or idea right now, is basically when I was 15 and a half, I basically during this time I just played a bunch of video games, and I was pretty depressed because I don't know, high school was just depressing me. I didn't really know how to feel about it, and all these changes were happening, and none of the people that I knew were the same, and they had different interests, and I wasn't really quite ready to take on all the new interest, I guess, that high school kind of puts on you. And so I just kind of, like, I tried to go with it, but I don't know, something inside me just didn't fully change to those circumstances, I guess. There's some part of me that wanted to remain me, or remain something other than what high school was trying to guide me into being. And yeah, so I knew this guy named Warren Dunbar on this I played RuneScape, and we had a group of people that were from this one dude, Nightmare RH's YouTube and Ventrilo server, and we ended up making kind of a group out of it because we had all gotten banned from that server. And so yeah, I came home one day, and he's just like, "Here, you guys should watch this." And I didn't actually watch it at first, which was a funny thing. Like, I wanted to. I was like, because there was like these changes happened. Like, people were bringing up these religious topics and just kind of like stuff that you wouldn't talk to like your friends normally about. But on this internet space, it was just kind of like it was just coming about, and like it resonated with me because it was like I had been thinking that, or I don't know exactly what I was thinking, but I was starting to question, I guess, religion and my old beliefs. Yeah, because this was during high school, and I had been at a Catholic school. This was a public school, and the freedom to just to wear whatever I wanted to wear, and kind of lose that everyday thing that, like, being in a Catholic school kind of puts that faith in you, but whenever you're just at a school that's not supporting all that, and it's just like, be whatever you want to be, it just kind of like drops. I don't know. Like, a part of me wanted to be that kid that still did it, but I don't know, there was just this whole other part of me that was like, no, like, you're free in some ways, like, at least at school, like, you can think whatever you want to think. And I don't know, I heard this one discussion one night in particular on the internet about religion, and it started to get me to think. And I don't know, and then my one friend Devin was playing this movie called Zeitgeist or he was watching it, and I could hear it through the speakers, and like, it started talking about Jesus and how Jesus was just this made up character from all these other religions that are just based on the movements of the stars and the planets and stuff. And that just totally fucked me up. Like, that fucked me up. Like, I don't think it happened right then, but it really, like, something just completely shifted in me. And it was either later that night or a night later or 2 nights later. I thought about it in my, like, it just something like totally gave way in my head. And like, I just was just all this emotion, all this like feelings of being pissed off and sad and depressed and all of that. It shifted from like, oh, my reality, my life sucks, to my fucking parents and the society that I grew up in. What the fuck have they been trying to tell me? All this shit's fucking wrong. Like, what the fuck? You mean the whole religion that I was based up to believe that the whole world was based up upon is just some story based on the stars? Like, what the fuck? And that the government is like enslaving us with money, and like, it's just set up for us to be slaves, and how there's like, and then there was like a bunch of conspiracy stuff. Oh yeah, about the World Trade Centers being like an inside job, and how the New World Order was going to form, and like all this crazy stuff, which, I mean, at the time I totally loved it though. I was like, yes, like, I don't know, it made me feel like I was such a outsider. Like, I was trying to run from being an outsider like, I did not like that. I was like really trying not to be an outside, like let people think. I wanted all my friends to think that I was in the know and popular and all that shit, and it was just really hard for me to accept that I was an outsider. And this just kind of like was like, yes. Well, I'd already started to come to terms with it or at least like started to really see it. Like, in grade school, I'd totally denied being an outsider, but at this time, like, I knew I was, but like, I was just sad about it, I guess. And this, after watching this, that changed, and I was mad about it. I was like, the reason I'm like this is all because of you guys, or something like, or I don't know, I really enjoyed telling people this stuff and trying to shove it in their face and like trying to make them believe it. And I really made myself look like quite the idiot to quite a few people. But, you know, you gotta learn your lessons. So I mean, I did, because I switched schools after that year, and like which I didn't like what I did then, because then I just tried to cover it up, and basically, yeah, it was just something that came around, but it wasn't like, I don't know, that the first 6 months after I watched that movie, it was like really intense. Like, I don't know, I just felt like I was such a, like, literally, like, I thought I was like an alien amongst humans. Like, I don't know, I couldn't, like, I don't know, I'd be around people, but there just seemed like such a gap in between me and them. And I didn't really know how to fill that gap and something like that, I don't know. But yeah, and well, and then, life goes on, and I tried to cover it up when I went to this new school and had this girlfriend and all this stuff, and then, stuff that really sticks with you stays, and it comes back, even if you try to push it down, because, I don't know, I thought I needed to go and have a career and marry this girl, and, I don't know, it was pretty crazy. I, put all my happiness into that and left this stuff behind. But then I started to pick it back up, and then that's when the problems with her started to arise. And oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into a life story here really, but that's just basically, yes, this is where I want to express that part of me, that birth of me that happened when I watched that movie, because since then there's been this whole new self that's been emerging and built and being created inside me that is not who I was before. And yeah, so that's just, it's taken me on a lot of journeys. I've done a lot of bad stuff and a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have done, and has gotten me into a lot of trouble. But, I'm also really, really lucky, because I have just been blessed with the best mentors and teachers that, at least that I've been able to find. I don't know, they just seem to have a lot of good stuff to say, and yeah, and what attracted me to them before isn't the same thing that it does now, because this whole thing changes, and I don't know, it's really interesting. I've had a lot of experiences on drugs. It's been a big factor in how I've made a change since then, and I've also been to rehab and learned things there, and then there's also this thing called the Gendo podcast with Heron Stone, and that's where I've gotten some really good life-saving information, because when I think about it in those terms, when I think about my problems and I think about anything like that, more of a guiding hand than almost anything, because I'm not deluded when anyway, I'm just talking generally here, sorry, it's not gonna make sense. Yes, anyway, yeah, this is just about my language machine, basically. I might occasionally do video of me, but I'm not going to do it that much, because I don't want to have to worry about my face, and if I do something weird, and I don't want to have to think about that and have that as a distraction. So I think it's just best if I just record my voice and either give you something nice to look at over it, or just whatever, because oh yeah, and it's also probably going to be distracting for you if you see because my body movements and stuff aren't the norm, so it might get a little distracting. But yeah, anyway, this is just me, and, well, my thoughts. That's not all of me, but a good part of me that I'd like to give to the world, and see what they had to say to it too. So yeah, anyway, YouTube, you have a great whatever, the people that are watching this anyway, not YouTube. But yeah, until next time.